What's going on, everyone? So, I think it's time to bench Austin Reaves, right? Rui Hachimura, I made the argument, before game 4 on, should you keep Reaves, should you keep Rui? I don't think JJ will bench Austin Reaves, but he hasn't been in, right? He's doing his best D'Lo impression. He's had 3 good quarters in 16. He just hasn't been what we need him to be. My hope is that him going to the bench, 1, will help our bench unit. 2, maybe get him going, right? Get him kind of into a rhythm and a flow, and he can kind of work it out, right? Because now he's not going up against Anthony Edwards, 40 minutes a night. He's going up against, Dante DiVincenzo and stuff like that, right? Kind of matching the bench. And then if he is cooking and he is doing his thing and he is, tearing it up, then you can always close with him. Right? You can always have him finish the 4th quarter, right? If Austin Reaves is giving you 20 and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing and he's woken up, then fine, play him, 40 minutes, right? At the end of the day, you can play him as many minutes as you want, right? I'm just saying don't start him to get us kind of better balanced, right? I think, honestly, you should bring Reaves and Rui off the bench. I think you bring both of those guys off the bench, give you that offensive versatility off the bench, and I think you go with either Jordan Goodwin and Dorian Finney-Smith or Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith. I've talked, again, we need better balance, right? Because we're not able to stop Minnesota, but at the same time, right, we're so reliant on Luka and LeBron to give you all of the offense. So to me, I would rather kind of revamp the entire starting 5. Luka and LeBron are starting without a doubt. After that, I think you go either Reaves off the bench and then keep Rui and just embrace the small ball and go with Luka, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and Rui as your 5. And then Rui gives you the floor spacing with Dorian Finney-Smith. Jared Vanderbilt basically gives you the dunker spot guy that you're looking for with Jackson Hayes on offense, right? And then now you have LeBron and Luka, right? So you still have the shooting, you still have everything that you need, right? Or you just fully lean into LeBron and Luka being your primary offensive options in the first quarter and just go with Jordan Goodwin, Jared Vanderbilt, and Dorian Finney-Smith and bring Rui and Austin Reaves off the bench. And then now you have something like, Luka Doncic, Jordan Goodwin, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, and LeBron James. Now you basically have 4 defensive pieces around Luka, 3 around LeBron and Luka, because LeBron's still going to be our defensive anchor. Plus, Luka Doncic, one of the things that I've talked about heavily is that he likes to get going in the first, right? He's a guy that likes to drop 20 in the first quarter, right? So let Luka be Luka in the first quarter. Let him go and do his thing. LeBron James can be aggressive and pick his spots, right? You're hoping that Dorian Finney-Smith and Jordan Goodwin can knock down threes with some consistency, but now you just have the defensive versatility and switchability. Now Austin Reaves and Rui Hachimura get to come off the bench and be those offensive engine pieces for you. And again, you can always kind of plug and play and switch things up, right? You saw in the last game, Jackson Hayes played 3 minutes and then they pulled him out, right? He didn't play the rest of the game, right? You can always fix and adjust and tweak and change whatever it is that you need to adjust, tweak, and change based on the situation, right? But I think you lean more heavy into balance, have the bench production. So now you have that bench production. Now you're also not so reliant on essentially your 5 top guys, right? Because Jordan Goodwin isn't going to play 40 minutes or anything like that. So you could do things like that. But Rui kind of hits some shots. My problem is that yes, you can do what you... The problem is if you're JJ Redick, right? You're looking at it and you're going okay, my top 5 guys of Luka, Austin Reaves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Rui Hachimura have won the time that they're on the court together, right? You look at the third quarter, they're the ones that got us back in the game and got us the lead. And then you look at first quarters. Lakers have had the lead almost every first quarter this series, right? So like, how is JJ Redick looking at it and approaching? Is he looking at it as like, okay, well, the starters are working in the first whatever, and then I can always pull out Hayes and then inject Doe, and then those 5 guys have been getting us leads. I mean, even into the half, right? Like, so does he look at it that way, or does he look at it as like, no, we need to revamp this whole thing. We got to like, desperate times call for desperate measures. We have to change essentially everything, right? I think at this point, you almost have nothing to lose. Now, here's the question, though, is do you make the drastic change now, or do you wait for Minnesota? Right? Now, obviously, Lakers have to win in LA to get to Minnesota, but do you kind of trust that role guy, like Austin Reaves, Rui, Doe, like all these guys will be better because they're at home. We win that game at home, and then just throw a real wrench into it in game 6. I do think that there is an argument for that. I do think that there is an argument of like, kind of keep things the way they are, better manage it through game 5, right? And then go into game 6, they're going to be prepped and prepared for this because you've done it the same way, even down 3-1. And then now you throw that wrench in and it's like, oh shoot, we weren't expecting this. We weren't preparing for this, right? Like, so now Minnesota has to like figure that out and, make their adjustments through in like the middle of a game. And it might just give you that little edge. It might give you just enough. But the other side of that is like, if guys are great, and let's say we like blow out Minnesota, does JJ Redick go, well, like, oh, maybe everyone's back, right? Like, Austin Reaves goes and gives you 25 and Rui gives you 23 and, like everyone just steps up because you're at home and smacks Minnesota. And then, you know what I mean? Like there is a version of that where it looks kind of the other way, where it's like, oh, like, ooh, like, so I don't know. It really boils down to JJ and the coach staff and how they're looking at this. But I think bare minimum, you got to bring Reaves off the bench, right? Which is what this video is essentially primarily about, right? Like, I just think you need that point of attack defense. You need that injection. Austin Reaves hasn't been good enough this series to justify, him not coming off the bench. And we've seen in the past that Austin Reaves going to the bench gets him better. Well, so a couple things. One, and I've broken this down before, Austin Reaves gives you the same production off the bench as he does in the starting unit, but actually on better efficiency. So also we've seen, like even with Darvin Ham benching and bringing Austin Reaves off the bench, and it actually like corrected it and fixed him, right? So my hope is that JJ would bring him off the bench, inject, like I said, a Jared Vanderbilt into the starting unit, kind of go bigger, right? And then I just think you can't play Hayes at this point. I think that's it, right? So I think you just completely go away from Hayes entirely and kind of go Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt into the starting 5, right? In place of Hayes and Austin Reaves, right? And then you can keep Rui in the starting 5. So now you have Gabe Vincent, Austin Reaves, Jordan Goodwin, and probably who all they're going to play. But you could throw a little connector. You could throw different things out there if you wanted to, right? But I just think bringing Austin Reaves off the bench is probably the best. I think it's the best adjustment that can be made right now because, again, Austin Reaves hasn't been good enough to justify his lack of defense, his inability to basically do anything. Like Minnesota has completely taken him out of the game for the most part. Now, my hope is that what we saw, particularly in that third quarter of the last Laker game, that could kind of spark Austin Reaves and kind of get him going. Right, because he hit some shots, started to look good, right? Things were kind of falling for him, clicking for him, and then, can that kind of translate? He's being more aggressive. He wasn't settling as much. I mean, the guy's taking like 11 threes a game, man. Like, the guy's just essentially been relegated to spot-up three-point shooter, which, in his defense, it's kind of what the Lakers have evolved him into. But then that's more of a reason, in my opinion, to bring him off the bench, because then you might as well get a point of attack 3-and-D guy in. Right? You might as well get some type of defense. Even Gabe Vincent might be better, right? Just for the defense and then his ability to play off ball and shoot. And then Austin Reaves come off the bench in place of LeBron or Luka. Right? I think that that's probably just the better approach for the Lakers. So I think one of the adjustments is bringing Reaves off the bench. I don't think that they will. Again, if I'm being honest, I think that they're going to leave it as is. But time will tell. We'll see. We'll see what the Lakers end up doing. What if they make any changes at all? I do think Jackson Hayes is probably out of the starting unit. I think they'll probably go with Doe, LeBron, Rui, Dorian Finney-Smith, Austin Reaves. So it's probably my guess. So basically, I think Doe will be in place of Jackson Hayes. It's probably what they do. So basically the 5 that played the whole fourth. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel, what are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.